My bad. Yeah. There we go. Okay. That's all right. Well, my YouTube channel's a little on the slow side. There it goes. Okay. I didn't hit start, so there's a little bit of a delay there with starting the stream. So, well, that's good. I heard spring is happening in Seattle, and you went to the ballet yesterday. Which ballet did you see? Well, I guess I shouldn't assume that you saw it. You could have participated in it as well, but um, which one was it? Was it downtown? Sorry, I'm working on getting things ready up here in the background here. So, yeah, that's a good one. Thousand Pieces. Never heard of it. Oh, Pacific Northwest Ballet. Okay. Thousand Pieces. Sounds like it's a modern opera. Going on here. What's this? Oh, Mark Chagall. Okay. All right. Very cool. 4 years after originally scheduled. Oh, I see. So this one was supposed to premiere, I think, this time 4 years ago, and of course the pandemic happened, so obviously it didn't happen. Well, that's very cool. Paired with the revelry and joy of Matthew Neenan's made for PNB Bacchus, this double bill promises to be unforgettable. Very nice. Wow, that's a long one. 2 hours and 30 minutes with two 20-minute intermissions. That's huge. Yeah, modern ballet. Okay. Okay. Wow. Oh, very good. Oh, they got special effects and yeah. Holy crap, she doesn't neglect leg day. That's cool. I like seeing, I like seeing different art forms, do their thing. So that's pretty sweet. This is Bacchus here. It's good not to see the same old school, ballet stuff going on. So, hmm. Doing Swan Lake, 25, 30 times must get boring over time. So, yeah. Well, very cool. I'm glad. Was it enjoyable? Did you have a good time? I don't know how much ballet you've seen before, so how does it equate to other types of ballet, or is it just a different type of ballet? From what I saw there, it didn't look like the what you might think of like the Swan Lake stuff. So it looks very cool. So mm. so was reading some items this week about obviously this person has something to sell or what have you, but there's a I think supply chain attacks are interesting, and I find them. Um, I find that people don't often think about those in many respects, and I think it's probably because they're trying to figure out all the other stuff that security people have been trying to figure out, or trying to solve, API problems or web programming problems, the XSS vulnerabilities, if you will, and then now we have to worry about every dependency that they pull in from every software package, and I don't think teams are equipped. We saw Swan Lake last time, then Carmina Burana before that. Oh, okay. I don't know the Carmina Burana one. Copy. well, we're not going to do the whole thing, but oh yeah. See, my grandfather would have loved this. He played the viola, and he played the I called it the fiddle, and he would berate me every time. But he played an orchestra. He enjoyed his classical music. Anything later than the Baroque period, he said was awful. So he was very much a fan of the Baroque period. Would play in quartets or as like an ensemble piece for short music. So cool. This is University of California Television. I mean that's pretty sweet. You're probably listening for the audio anyway, not necessarily the guy playing the cornet or not. So very nice. Okay, I'll have to go check that one out. Let me keep that as a link for later so I can go listen to that. 33.8% of respondents had already experienced at least one supply chain cyber incident within the last year, highlighting the vulnerability of interconnected supplier networks. Yeah. I know it's not a typical supply chain issue, but one of the things that I've seen recently is the ability to have somebody trust an app, and then that turns into things like establishing trust relationships with somebody who shouldn't have trust, or if you trust an app that gives you full access to somebody's machine and they trust that app, then you can do a lot of things with those accounts. And explaining that to developers, sometimes I don't understand that, and for me, that's a kind of supply chain issue as well. It's like, okay, you're pulling apps that you trust for all intents and purposes from an app store or from, the internet, because you can sideload these apps, and, people are trusting them because they come from an app store. And as we've seen, there's apps all the time that are been removed in the news. 400 or 500 apps that have been removed. Nearby places search, or apps that may have been holding policy violations, or there's malware inside of them for whatever reason, because at scale you can't review everything. And I think that's indicative of npm packages or pip packages, or pip packages is Python installer or something. But any kind of package or dependency, unless you have a real good process and inventory of your applications, I think things are going to sneak in all the time. And you can really only do as much as you can, looking at the more, I would say, the more important ones, or the more popular ones. Or maybe actually you'd want to go with the inverse. You could go, okay, well, this one is fairly popular in marketplaces and what have you. You'd want to look at the ones that are kind of esoteric or don't have a lot of downloads, maybe something that just got added recently. You don't have to constantly look at every package every time, but if there's been a change, or keeping track of those in terms of, has there been a change of ownership, right? A change of ownership on a major package that your team uses could be a bad thing, because what happens if they start doing something like adding malware or adware, or they change the license so that it's not compatible with the things that you're building. Somebody's decided they want to start getting paid for it, so now you have to buy a license to use a package. I'm not saying it happens a lot, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. And so, see this. It happens a lot. This was in 2022, but they have Joker malware in them, right? But So you download these things and they're trusted because they come from the Google App Store, right? So you install it. Now you've got malware on your phone, which is trusted by your phone, and it's making calls out, or it's slurping up the data, or your pictures, or your photo, naked pics in your messages, or eavesdropping on your conversations. Yeah, it's and of course it can also play with any of the trusts that you've already established potentially. So if you have an integration with a camera provider, or if you're using it to send an Uber or what have you. Oh, hello, Ehab MHG. How you doing? Thanks for coming and following here. Appreciate you. Last time we streamed, had a bunch of people show up because of Al Hazard. It was amazing. Actually, it started a hype train, but nothing happened from the hype train. I was kind of sad about that, but it is what it is. But yeah, so yeah, I think we're not going to see the end of supply chain security issues. I think we're going to continue to see that from the time. For the time being, I think there'll be more of them. I think they'll get more creative. I think we're going to start seeing maybe a two-pronged attack where it's like, oh, okay, you build an app, and it's not going to be, like the top level stuff. It's going to be something that you're going to have to pull down because you have to pull down your app needs this app, which needs this app, and this app is going to be the problem. It's not going to be like we saw with Log4j. The bad actors are going to find, second or third level or third order applications that are in the system that are going to be trusted by the second order, by the first order, by the main app. And then you're going to, you're going to be infected that way. It's not going to be a, hey, it's this app. It's going to be whatever dependencies are underneath. So, I want to do some more Rust stuff, but, so I've been talking, I want to do some more Rust stuff, but I also have been talking to my friend Mick Douglas about his AI application called Concierge. If you haven't heard, or whatever, he's Concierge. I can't spell concierge tonight. Don't worry, Google knows. Concierge. Bess Emoro. There it is. Wow. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh. Okay, that's not him. Ooh. Information security. All right, there we go. I don't know why I can't find it. What the hell? One second. I will pull that up here. Toot sweet. Ready to somebody, somebody. GitHub. Okay, so no, not Zettler. Rush training, no. You know that thing when you're trying to find something in your history of searching and you can't find it? Yeah, that's this time right now. So where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. Conci. Nope. Okay, you rat bastard. So yeah, so he's created this tool that allows you to generate your own AI system using data that you control and manage. He says it's a search engine for your data. Find exactly what you need in your own data. So it does not need cloud. All work is local. And it's low cost. So GPU is not required, or you don't have to pay for tokens. So yeah, here it is. About time, Jesus. Okay. All right, so I am really trying to get him to come on in the next few weeks. I know next weekend we have Kevin Johnson from Secure Ideas, who's also a member at large for the Global OWASP organization. And Tuesday, if he doesn't reschedule again, the recruiter that I've been trying to line out the last 2 times that I've streamed is swearing he's going to make it to this meeting. Friday he was supposed to be here, but I guess he got back from a trip or something, and his wife scheduled a dinner at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and of course that's 3 p.m. Pacific time, which was the time he was supposed to be on with me. So he has told me, hey, can we reschedule for Tuesday? I'm going to give him one last try, and then I'm just going to say, fuck it. You contact me when you're ready to actually speak. So, but this is a tool that is easy to set up. It's easy to set up. It runs local and requires Python and Docker. And I've actually set it up in 2 different places. The first time I set it up, I had some issues with that were me. It was keyboard related issues. But I would suggest. Oh, what's this? Okay, so using NVIDIA GPUs so it does use GPUs if you want to be a little faster on some of the queries. I do not have that set up in the version that I have. So you can up-to-date drivers from NVIDIA, yes, update, make sure the WSL2 backend is turned on. That's the problem I had the other day when I was playing around with the Rust stuff and trying to get the game to work. I didn't update my WSL, even though I had the ability to do X on the Windows. To validate that everything works as expected, execute a Docker run command with GPUs all flagged. For example, the following will run a short benchmark on your GPU. Oh, okay. Well, let's go try that out. I am cautiously optimistic about this. Let's see. So I don't want to use this. I want to use PowerShell. Docker is a thing? Okay, Docker is a thing. All right, so Docker. So if you're asking me why I'm doing this, I'm testing to make sure that the GPUs actually work with Docker, because when you go to install Concierge, it asks you if you want to use CPU only or GPU. And if you use CPU, it's fine. It's just, even on my 20-core system here, it pegs like 18 of 20 CPUs. And so I've got a nice fat graphics card, and I was like, well, maybe I could use my GPU for this. So I'm going to try the commands here to run with GPUs. nvcr.io, NVIDIA, K8s, CUDA sample, nbody dash GPU dash bench Mac. Unable to find the image. Okay, so it's pulling down the Kubernetes instance from NVIDIA. Okay, so well, that's not expected, or not unexpected. Failed to create task for container, failed to create shim task, OCI runtime, shit. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, or if you wanted to try something more useful, you could use the official Olama. So this, I think Concierge uses a similar Olama bit in our Docker. Let me see. Oh, you know what? Docker's not. Oh, don't Docker's running. Docker's running. There we go. So as you can see, I've got Docker paused right now, and you see the Olama instances that are running here, the Olama instance that could be here. So these are running in CPU, which if I start up my GeForce, you can see my CPUs here, you can see my change graph to logical processors. So there's all 20 of those, so you can see each one, 0 to 19. Some of them are parked, some of them are not. And what it does is it creates the Docker images on my system. I have yet another reason to use Docker, which is great. And so, why can I not use GPUs in my system here? I have the update drivers, right? And I am aware I'm sharing my screen. It's all right. Where's the? Oh, okay. Let me see which one I downloaded recently. I actually did run the updates. Yeah, I've got 55176, so I'm running 5.5 or 55176 for my NVIDIA drivers. I just don't have the GeForce Experience running on here because I don't need it. I wonder if it's all that shit I disabled to keep things more stable. Interesting. You know what? Let me go ahead and try running this Docker container. I already have one, so maybe it'll shit the bed. Yeah, I have one already, so I can't actually run Olama. The version that I have is probably already running. Let me see if there's something in Docker about GPUs. System default, WSL2. SBOM indexing, resources, okay, resource saver, now. WSL integration, oh, okay. Yeah, we'll give that a shot. I turned off Kubernetes because it was running and I just wasn't using Kubernetes at the time, but okay, we got the latest updates. Allow only extensions distributed through Docker Marketplace. See, there's a supply chain issue, as we talked about earlier. Yeah, right now I can install any extensions anywhere from Docker, and Docker's cool with that, right? Show Docker extension system containers. No. Enable WASM. Ugh. EAP sign up. Okay. SOX proxies. Okay. So interesting. Enable GPU usage, Docker. Versions earlier than Docker 19. Okay, so this is an old, yeah, this is 9 years ago. Shit, okay. Turn on GPU access with Docker Compose. Okay, so Docker Compose up. No config file found. Oh, well, Well, that definitely does mean something, I think. See, I'm not running this in Linux. I'm running it in Windows, which is the other issue. Everyone assumes everybody's running everything in fucking Linux. So, contrary to popular belief, Docker does run really well on. Maybe I need to run it in a PowerShell admin system here. Okay, so go back to this one here. And I'm going to make sure that I didn't copy anything wrong. Oh, wait, I'll just do that right there. Okay, so. Nope, it shit the bed again. Error response, daemon failed to contain task for container, failed to create shim task, OCI runtime create failed, RNC create failed, unable to start container process error during container init. Unexpected signal during runtime execution. Let's see what we got here. Go -nvml. All right, so it has something to do with NVIDIA packages or Go packages. GitLab.com. Make sure WSL2 backend is hooked up correctly. Okay, well I did that, right? I'm gonna double check. Yeah, I think I already checked for that. It's you're using WSL2 backend, so resource limits are managed by Windows. You can configure limits on CPU, memory, and swap size in the WSL config file. Okay. Let's see what the config files. The config files enable GPU usage. DriveFS, yes. Interop. Here we go. No. Kernel processor, safe mode, page swap, GUI. Turn off or on support for GUI applications, available only in Windows 11. Weird, got that. Experimental settings, here we go. See if there's any experimental settings that, no, that's not the case. All right, so an example WSL config file. Maybe you need to turn on, If anybody's watching is like, yeah, I've set up GPUs to work with Docker. Here's how you do it. Shout out, because it's not working for me. It says it's referenced in a compose.yaml file by using the device attribute from the compose deploy specification. This provides more granular control over GPU reservation, as custom values can be set for the following device properties. Sample of a compose file running a service with access to a GPU. So services test, NVIDIA CUDA 12.3.1, Ubuntu 20.04. Machines with multiple GPUs, device IDs can be set to target specific GPU devices and count. See, I only have one GPU in this system, but I have two in my laptop downstairs. I have a discrete graphics adapter 1650 that I could potentially use. I have to clean that one up because I screwed up the install of Concierge on that. But I'm assuming it's it just says GPU 0, GPU 1, GPU 2, GPU 3. So if I want to, assuming there's 4 GPUs in this system, which is 0 through 3, you want to use the first and last ones, you could do that, I guess. Otherwise, you could ask it to, pull all of them. Interesting. Let's go look for tools. Anytime within the last year, how to use GPUs from a Docker container. Here we go. Something a little more current. What are Docker containers? Okay, machine learning, yeah. CUDA kit, yeah. Install NVIDIA drivers, I've done that. Install Docker, done that. Install the container toolkit, uh-oh. Interesting. Container toolkit. Man. Okay. Configure the container runtime by using NVIDIA CTK command. My foot is farty, so. How do you do the NVIDIA toolkit in Windows? NVIDIA toolkit for Windows. Yeah, there you go. Not the only one. Not the only one. This only works with NVIDIA GPUs for Linux containers running Linux host systems on Linux host systems or inside WSL2. Okay. Oh, so that means I'm stuck using Debian, I think. That makes a little sense. NVIDIA Docker is a library and accompanying set of tools for exposing graphics devices to Linux containers. Provides full GPU acceleration for containers running under Docker, Containerd, LXC Podman, and Kubernetes. Containers running GPU acceleration have access to all supported graphics APIs on NVIDIA GPUs. Container toolkit is designed specifically for Linux containers running directly on host systems or within distributions under WSL2. All right, well, shite. Speaking of shite, happy St. Patrick's Day. If you are Irish or you just want to be Irish today, that's cool. So let me try this. Okay, so I'm in WSL2. Oh, no, not Docker. Okay, so Docker is running. I have it in my Debian build. So maybe if we try it this way, where's the command for that to run that again? There it is. We're going to run this from Linux. Okay. Oh, it's still shit the bed. Damn. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. Why is... Oh. Okay. There we go. Gonna install? Yep, there it goes. Okay. Love somebody like you. Alright, so I mean at least I know that Docker is running. Containers are running, so whoa. Okay, so there's some of the output from there. I actually don't know how to get back to Concierge once it's been running. So let me go back to the T. Okay, I must have. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so set up manual launch from the cloned project directory. Run launch py. To run the web UI, run the following. Okay, so let's run the following command. Go to PowerShell. So the one thing that I had issues with was I didn't go to a virtual Python exit environment, so VENV or virtual environment. That was something that I ended up having a few issues with. So set up manual. Okay, so go back into CD concierge, and then yeah, there we go. So VENV. Where's the VENV? Okay, Python MV. Oh, maybe I go Streamlit run. Streamlit is not right. Yeah, I know, because I'm not in there. All right, so if launch py didn't work. All right, so scripts activate. Okay, so now I'm in concierge. So as you see, the virtual environment pops, and then now I can do. Yeah, so this is the UI, which is in Streamlit, which I have no clue what that is. But so the idea is that, and let me maximize it. Oh, I have a dual window, so apologies. Let me unscrew this pooch. There we go. And whatever that is. Oh, that's the other terminal window. Okay, well, I'll keep that up just for my own edification. So the idea is the concierge AI that McDouglas and team are making, and one of the lead developers is named Sebastian, which I'm going to see if I can get Mick and Sebastian on at the same time. Going to go for broke on this. It's an open source AI framework for how you use data. So the idea is that if you take and import, let's say you're handling PCI audit or something, and you want to get good information, but you don't want to look through a 500-page document, or you don't want to, have to figure out exactly what PCI DSS is saying when they say blah. You can upload, for instance, PCI DSS documentation or the NIST 800-53 PDF that's a couple of hundred pages long into this system, and the AI system that is now running on my box very slowly right now because it's using CPU instead of GPU will crunch through it and ingest that and then spit out answers. And I did a video that I shared with Mick, me setting up this build and making queries and stuff. I had some questions because I don't have anything in the data right now. There's nothing in the system. So, I have, okay. That's not entirely true. I actually was trying to use this because he said any data, right? So I was like, well, okay, I don't have to use it for security, right? I can use it for whatever I want. So at the same time I'm doing this, oh, wait. I'm hiding my pretty face. At the same time, I'm doing breaksec education, infosec and stuff. I've also got my solo RPG stuff that I'm doing on the side, Peerless Gamer, and there's PDFs of how to play the game and things that you can identify with and name your characters, kind of like how you've got all the game books for Dungeons and Dragons, that kind of stuff, and it's like, do I want to look through how to do the grapple rules? No, it's a pain in the ass. So why don't I have a good way of searching for that locally on my own system? So I should be able to feed them this PDF for Starforged Ironsworn, and ask it questions, and it should be able to scroll through this 204-page document. Actually, it's a little more than that. It's about 400 pages because this is spreads. So, but anyway, I should be able to go through this entire document, and the AI should ingest that data, and then when I ask questions of it, it should be able to do a cross-reference and go, oh yeah, here's how you do blah. So that's what I was using it for. I wasn't using it for security because that wasn't interesting to me right now. So I can delete this collection. It's not a huge difference. But if I go, infosec stuff. Oh, wait, no spaces. No spaces. Stuff. All right, I'm going to create a collection. Oh, look at that. Well, that's new. Invalid collection name, infosec stuff. Oh, because I'm an idiot. See? I'm an idiot. No dashes, right? So, well, at least we know the error checking works. It's a little verbose for me. But that's okay. It's an alpha. Remember this, folks. If you're going to play with this stuff, it's an alpha. They would love to get some feedback from you. So, if you've got questions or anything, feel free to put up issues. There are some issues in there. Some of them are, I actually put a couple in myself, but that's because I'm an idiot. So, 8-bit Oni, I don't know. Network Chuck, do you have a link to who Network Chuck is? This is an Olama, a local AI version that Mick Douglas and them are working on, but there's definitely some other stuff that's going on with the how they're using this for infosec related items. The idea is you're okay. I didn't know if you had a link to he did something on this recently. Okay. I was just getting a link if you had a link to the video that that Network Chuck did. I think this is an Olama instance, but I don't think there's anything connected to it. So if, I don't know what 8-bit Chuck or Mr. Chuck was doing to his Olama instance, but this is completely blank. So it's a blank slate. The idea is you're setting it up and you're feeding it only the data that you want to feed it. Instead of whatever pre-generated shit that has been added to the base version of that. So you go in now. I'll do it again. So we'll just call it infosec. Just no spaces, no nothing. So it's doing its thing. As you can see, it's making my CPU really nice and warm. I have a collection of things here. So let's pull down the PCI DSS PDF. And here, sure, there we go. All right, so let's just say for shits and giggles, we're going to pull it down this PDF. I'm going to download this, get it on my desktop. Yep, there we go. All right. All right, so I have a collection. There's nothing in it right now. Entity count is 0. There's a link if you're interested. It was not a blank slate. Yeah, see, this one is completely blank. The idea is that you only feed it the data that you want in your model. I guess the idea would be if you want to train your own model, if you want to do things like building a knowledge base that somebody can pull off of. He puts his notes in Obsidian. Yeah, Obsidian's nice. It's a nice markdown editor. I'm still using VS Code for my markdown editor. I would also suggest Cherry Tree because it comes with Kali Linux if you so choose. It's a good way to take notes as well. Typora is also another good markdown editor if you want something like that. And of course, there's also ones that are like online called Dillinger. My concern with Dillinger or something like that, if you use it for notes, I don't know where it's storing those notes. And if you put anything sensitive in there, I don't know where it goes. Yeah. So, all right. So my collection infosec loader. So the fun thing is they do have drag and drop on their UI, and so you can see this grinding. It's making my CPU do fun, cool things here. So, all right, so drag and drop files here, 300 megabyte limit, which some PDFs can get fairly weighty. I believe I have a couple of PDFs that are exceeding like a gigabyte, depending on the size of those. All right, so here's the PCI DSS 4.0. It's only 4.4 meg. Sweet. All right, so there's no URLs, but you can just click ingest, and now you're going to see it ingest, and you're going to see it, make my... There we go. Oh, so I didn't do this before. It must have been the ingestion thing that I didn't click before. Interesting. So I've got questions for Mick and Sebastian. It's like, okay, so if I create multiple collections, is it going to pull from each of those? So if I had something for PCI DSS, if I had something for my RPG stuff, if I had, something else for like nuclear physicists or whatever, and I made a question, would it pull from all three of those, or can I actually make the query and say, okay, I only want you to look in this collection? Or I've been looking into some things like this because I will start my first cybersecurity job tomorrow. Congratulations, 8-Bit Oni. Yeah, I would say, yeah, and remember, it's not ready for prime time yet, but if you want to play around with this, you can go and grab it from there. Okay, so it is processing and processing. It is processed. Oh yeah, now you can see everything's nice and warm now. So, all right, so it has processed. It processed something. So let me go back up to collection. Okay, so entity count 5,071. All right, so it worked, right? My guess is the URLs down here is for. I'm guessing if you want to pull a file, I wonder if you could. Let me go. Let me do PCI 3.2.1 PDF. Let me do NIST 800-53 PDF. There we go. All right, so I'm going to pull that down too. The fun thing is I think you can just delete the stuff that you need. So I'm going to grab this URL because I'm going to give it a, I'm going to see if I can just ingest directly from the URL. Okay, so it's processing the URLs. Okay, so it's actually downloading it directly from the site. So I could go that route if I wanted to go that way as well. How do I? Oh. Okay. So it's pulling that down. I'll have to go through a lot of HIPAA's good. Yeah, sure. Yeah. A lot of network security stuff. It's going to be a lot of work. Yeah, okay, so this must be a fairly large file. Interesting. Or maybe it's downloaded it and it's, I don't know how big this file is, so. Yeah, I actually, reached out to Mick and we were talking about some stuff and he was telling me about, some other things he's got going on with the roadmap of it. And I won't go into that here, obviously. My thought was to get him on before, like Paul Security Weekly and them and get him on because, I'd like to actually kind of have the scoop there. So I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but we'll see. Wow. Okay, so it does take a little time. My guess is that's the other thing. I don't know if it would be faster if the GPU was being used to process this. It feels like yes, but I could be wrong. But you can definitely tell that it is crunching and using all of the GPUs. So 68-70% utilization. I'm actually doing pretty good. This is in addition to me streaming online here right now. So, but I'm mostly using GPU for the audio, video, and the sound bits. So probably 1 or 2% of CPU is going to like audio decoding and recoding things. But anyway, so I'm assuming it will run in the background, and I can make some queries on the PCI stuff. Um, and maybe it's just not going to do anything while it's processing that file. Oh, and the other cool thing is you can record a screencast. So I'm not sure if that's part of Streamlit or if it's something else, but you can record a screencast of yourself interacting with the system, and it may be a good idea if you're going to send a bug report to Mick and Sebastian to make sure that they have the same thing that you're doing, in case you do something that makes a hallucination or does something else that they'll need to work on. Make sure you're doing a screen recording of what you're doing. That way they'll understand what's going on. Ow. Okay, so it's still processing the URL. Yeah, Olama's up and running. Milvis. I don't know what Milvis is. Collection management. So yeah, it says you can have as many collections as you want, organize your data, experiment with selection options in the prompt. Okay, so it does sound like you can make queries based on certain data sets. So like if I have my RPG stuff and my PCI DSS stuff and my network engineering stuff, or like 8-bit ONI, I have my NIST stuff and I have my HIPAA stuff and I have my network security engineering stuff. You can make queries based on each individual one. I'm guessing you could also go like, I need all of it. I need to look across all my data sets, which might take a lot longer depending on the size of the data sets. So, but yeah, dataconcierge.ai. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's okay. So neither one of those people are. Well, I don't know if one of them could be Sebastian, the head developer, but neither one of those is Mick Douglas. Just to let you know. I'm sure that's like, static actors or something. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Oh. Ooh. Womp, womp, womp. Okay, so I need to reload. Can I reload? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to try and URL because it's probably too, I don't want to say too big. It's just pulling down that file is going to be too big. So drop that. And then I can go browse the files. Let me see how big this file is. Oh yeah, it's only 5.7 meg. There we go. Now pull that and then ingest. And it should be a little faster, I'm hoping. When I was playing with this with Ironsworn, I thought, well, maybe it doesn't like, maybe it's choking on like the pictures or something like that. So let me not, I'll just vamp for a few minutes while we're waiting for this AI to do its AIing thing. And that is why I like Obsidian and how I can search through notes and PDFs quickly, but having an AI system would be nice as well. Yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, your PDFs is probably, I don't know about your notes. I mean, unless you're taking copious amounts of notes, yeah, that might be useful. Yeah, so, you'll need to export them as something. Either you would probably want to do like plain text to speed up the ingestion, maybe not using PDF, I don't know. It doesn't like that NIST document, does it? Because it processed that PCI one pretty damn quickly. Let's see, do I have any error messages going on in my Docker instances? Oh, apparently I do have Kubernetes running. Oh no, I turned them off. Okay. Oh. The fuck? What's going on there, man? Okay, they're all running. There we go. Weird. Yeah, I looked up Obsidian. And I was thinking maybe I should try a simpler um, markdown editor. I like the idea of the nodes and everything that they have on there. Yeah, it's available in all different places: iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, Linux. Because as if Linux didn't have enough complication, as they have it in an app image, a snap, an app image for Arch64 and ARM64, or Flatpak. It's the other problem I've got with Linux. It's like, oh yeah, you can't do apt install. You've got to do a Flatpak, or you've got to do a snap package or something like that. It's like, Jesus, man, just give me a fucking package that I can use that's somewhat universal. No, you gotta use this version of package, and then it's like, I don't remember how I installed it. It's just there. So, well, I think this is going to fail. That's interesting. Very interesting. Stupid. All right, let's stop this bad boy. All right. I don't know what deploy would do. Let me make sure that we got collect. Okay, so we do have something in there. If I were a user who had a lot of things in here, I'd kind of want to know what my collection consisted of. And I don't know if there's a way to tell me what's in my collection. Because I would think that would be somewhat important to be able to know, okay, you know, especially if you're gonna like release this to a team of like red team folks or security people, you would want to know what's in the system. Okay, well, we don't have the ISO 27002 standard. Maybe we should drop it in there or whatever. I don't know what deploy is going to do. Oh, so Streamlit is some kind of like front end something or another for UI. Okay, yeah, whatever. Prompter. All right, let's go to prompter. Okay, so my CPU is going extra double good time. It must be still processing that PCI doc. Wow. Sometimes I'll read books in Obsidian as my main reader, and I can highlight and create links to that sentence in the PDF and make notes on that. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So when you say you're reading books, are you having to convert them to... You're having to convert them to PDF? Or are you having to convert them from EPUB or like a Amazon format, something like that, something proprietary? Interesting. Oh, that was my daughter right there. Oh, y'all can't see that, so interesting. I think I broke it. I think I broke it. Unless the processing is just that much slower, so. And by the way, as I've been saying, this is alpha, so this is not indicative of the final product. Your mileage may vary. Please rotate your tires every 8,000 miles, lather, rinse, repeat, etc., etc. So, for example, when I was studying my CYSA, I would then open the PDF in the book in Obsidian, then split screen it and make notes on every chapter, and in those notes create links to the pages it referenced. Ah, okay, so you make an index very similar to how Sans folks would make that. So. Yeah, Streamlit. Let me close a few things so that I can, squeeze every flop out of my my CPU here. Close that. Oh, let me see what my final tally today for power was while we're waiting for that to charge. All right, 46 kilowatts. Nice. Nice. Just one thing, only thing I wanna do. Yeah, is Streamlit still running? If you accidentally stopped, oh, I think I pooched it. I closed the terminal window. Yeah, God damn it. That is what I get for doing that. Let's see. Yeah, I pooched it. My bad. New version of Streamlit is available. Oh, okay. All right. There we go. All right, pip install Streamlit upgrade. One second. It says there's a new version. Maybe it's a 1.32.1. Okay. Oh, 1.32.2. Okay. So, and then okay. Here we go. All right. So, cross fingers. So this is where I end up getting stuck. And I think I showed this to Mick when I ran the video the other day. It gives you, which, okay, so it does give you which collections, because I've never set multiple collections before. So your task is bootstrap, coach, coder, counterpoint, fact check, question, search, slide, summary. So let's ask it a question. As a persona, cheerful, formal, mirror, or snarky? Let's not add any persona. I don't want any kind of discussion or concern, maybe. I don't think you need to have an enhancer, but we'll just do that. All right. So, what do you want to know? Let's just give it the softest of softballs. What is the PCI? What does PCI DSS stand for? Ah, oh, whoa. Looky. Okay, isn't that kind of cool? Hey, it works. Fucking A, man. Okay, well, you know what? Collection management. Let's add a new collection called Ironsworn. There's one, okay. Loader. All right, so for Ironsworn, then I can go in, browse le file, and I will pick the rule book. So now this is rich text. This isn't like the boring ass shit like you see in the PCI DSS toolkits. And then I'm going to say ingest. She's already been processed. She cannot take no more. Oh, yeah. See, it's way faster when you don't download or try to have it download for you. So that's cool. So I will say, if you're interested in this RPG, it's free. I have mentioned it a couple times. Ironsworn RPG. Yeah, so it's completely free to buy, or the materials with which to play the game is online here. And it's for solo role play, or you can play it with two people, one of them being GM and one of them being the player, or you can play with two people with no GM, or you can play it like a typical game, like a GM with several players or whatever. So just a heads up there. But there's enough information in this doc here that you can I think you can play the game pretty easily. And Sean Tompkin is amazingly generous with all of his stuff. He's just kickstarted Sunder Dials, which is an add-on to Iron Sworn and Starforge. So I'm a Kickstarter horse, so I did in fact support that as well. So. All right, so that happened. All right, prompter. Okay, so enhancement encouragement. Yeah. All right, so how do you go back? I want to go back to like there we go. All right, so Iron Sworn. All right. How do you build momentum? Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. Nice. Nice. Very good. Look at that. All right. Ho, 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 ho. Page 60. So what it does is it just takes you to the PDF and shows you the spot on the page, or shows you the page that it's actually on. So it is very much like building an index for necessary bits. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And it doesn't care. So obviously there must be some OCR involved because like I use ShareX, which you saw me install an update for earlier. So this is like a Green Shot or whatever Windows snipping tool, but it's way more powerful. It has an OCR version that I really like that you can hotkey OCR and then you can like take pieces of text, or actually Control Shift X, and then you take this region of text, then a box pops up and it does your OCR for you, which I actually like that quite a bit. And you can, copy that into Obsidian if you wanted to, or you can copy it into, whatever your favorite thing is. But yeah, it does pretty good. I mean, it's near 100%. There's only a few times where it will actually come up with something that hasn't been spelled properly, and then you have to go in and edit the, you can copy all or translate this or put it in a single line. I find putting in a single line is better because it does tend to put in line carriage feed and line return stuff, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But yeah, use Google Translate, or you can use any one of these other ones to do translation or OCR of that. But so I'm assuming the prompter service and concierge is doing something similar. It's scanning all of this based on that information. You might want to ask it, what are some best practices for something? Yeah, that would be a good thought. Let me see. Let's go to infosec. What are password best practices? Okay, so interesting. So it's making an inference. Okay, so these are, it must be tying. Is best practice can be found in this document? Best practice. Okay, so yeah, so there's that. It found it on this page, but not on the one that it was actually going to. That's interesting. So maybe I have to ask it, maybe I can ask it a question like, how long should a password be? Passwords 90 days, rotated every 90 days. Jesus Christ. Only authentication factor for access. So you still have to do a little bit of reading, it feels like. It hasn't been making in. So 8-bit, I don't do. I'm still learning how to query an AI. I'm pretty good at Google dorking. Maybe faster best practices for passwords or security or physical security. Good thing is it looks like it keeps your history, right? So let me wonder what happens if I change the tasking on this. So infosec, so PCI, I don't know what a coder would do, but maybe you ask get something a little more targeted. What if I ask it something that doesn't have an answer in the PDF, like, is the sky blue? Okay, so there you go. So it does. One of the things that I did have an issue with on the video was like all of a sudden it would tell me from the CLI it would give me answers about Python and stuff. So okay, because the CLI in the terminal was like a PCI DSS. How long do you keep credit card information? Okay. How long do you keep? See, my thing is I think it's just going to give us a link to where it sees like credit card or information or storage or something like that. How long should you store credit card information? Yeah, see, it's giving me like 5 answers here. So, yeah, store credit card data. What was the other one here? Page 60. So, oh, this is page 60 because it's page 60 up here. So, yeah, see, so it probably found store. There's cardholder data. Yeah. Now, to be fair, if you have a 3,000 page PDF or for instance, let me see. Can you pull down a bill? Let me see. Which bill do I want to pull down? Legislative bills. Search. Okay, so let's say you've got all this shit, right? And you need to, like the motor vehicle fuel tax law. So, no, that one's not very long. I need one that's long, right? Collective bargaining. That's better than average. I was looking for one like, federal government budget, line items or some shit like that. Nope, that one didn't make it. It died. How about federal government legislative bills? Federal gov. Okay, so bills to be considered. Here we go. These are always long as shit and boring as hell. Now here's one's 15. Okay. Focus Act. Here we go. Oh, god damn. I always heard these bills were like freaking long as shit. So, wow. Okay. Well, it's only 10 pages. But I mean, you can still pull down any of this stuff and then say, what's this about? And then, obviously it's doing some kind of indexing or word search or something to pump through this. But anyway, so this is the nascent version of this is the alpha version of what's going on here. I mean, you can already see that, you don't have to search through 204 pages of a PDF to figure out what you need. You can go directly to what might give you the answer, like, here's the best practice for passwords and passphrases. Passwords and passphrases that are valid for a long time without change provide malicious individuals more time to break the password. And then, if you're writing a report or something, you just, use something like ShareX, you can make a zoink, and now you've got, your text that you can, delightfully steal from PCI DSS. As long as you cite your resources, copy paste that shit right out of there. So one thing I've not to go off on another tangent, but I'm finding myself having to write a lot of shit at work, and I don't have a lot of confidence in my writing. Anything I read or anything I write, I tend to be very overly critical on, to the point where it's like, I don't want to write something because I know that somebody's going to look at it and just tear the shit out of it. So I've started, we write a lot of stuff. So a lot of people write a lot of stuff at my company. And I'm like, if I'm in a meeting and somebody says, oh yeah, we should write a document about that, I can almost guarantee that there's already been a document written about that, or something that we could use that is much the same. So I'm trying to repurpose that to kind of save time and effort. Which seems to be anathema to some folks, because they want to rewrite everything as if it was from scratch. And I'm like, yeah, why waste that time when there's already documents out there? It's like, why rewrite War and Peace when there's already a copy out there? I mean, this is a great way to index, large files if you're looking for that, or here's a PowerShell script block that addresses the user input and complies with the provided context. Interesting. Okay, so, wait a minute. Was this in the doc? I don't think they gave you... Whoa. Oh my God, it's learning. It's become self-aware. I had AI help me write a 2 weeks notice before I quit my previous job. I could have wrote that for you, 8-bit. Peace. Done. One word. Done. Oh, you could have put an emoji in there too. It's like, peace. I'm out. He was really impressed, and it's like, oh, not he. Your boss was really impressed, and then it's like, oh, wait, you're leaving. Crap. Oh, you left on a good note. Oh, that's always an important thing. So I don't think there was PowerShell in there. So this is interesting. So it's got some additional bits in here. I see. Well, I did ask it to give me answers as if it was a coder, so I don't know if that makes any difference. A coach, maybe that. Help me. I don't know. I don't know if the tasks, personas, and enhancers are connected in any way, shape, or form. So help me secure my data. Oh, that was delightfully vague, but it still found some things. Yeah, I think we're going to have Mick on, because I do really want to talk to him about some of this. So, of course, he's probably going to tell me I didn't install the shit right, which is okay. One of the things I have found out is I probably need to read all the instructions first before actually trying to do the install. Might go a little easier. But yeah, so I mean, so this is Concierge. It's still running. I don't know what it's doing something. I still think it's probably... You know what I bet's going on? It feels like that this is like, this was the level 1 connection, because as you see, as we're going down here, I asked some questions, and then it was like, oh, all of a sudden I'm now getting a PowerShell script block. So maybe there's like the initial analysis. There's an initial analysis, And then like there's, it's working on the second level analysis, right? Like, okay, you're going to go beyond, you know, doing a basic indexing search or a basic keyword search, and it's going to start making inferences or making data based on that. Dear recipient's name, I'm writing to tender my resignation. Hey, Digital Warhead, what's up? Writing to tender my resignation from my subcontracting position as blah at blah, effective last working day, usually 2 weeks from the date of the letter. While my time here has been brief, I want to express my heartfelt appreciation for the opportunity to contribute to blah. Despite the short duration, I've learned a great deal and have thoroughly enjoyed working with the team. I'm grateful for support and guidance. Oh, that's not awful. It's not awful. Maybe I could use that to, dear boss, sorry for pissing off insert VP here. Will not happen again. I understand, that may have caused you some consternation. Yeah, this is where somebody, this could be definitely used as a writing implement, as long as you understand that, you're not, hopefully not plagiarizing anything, or if you are, you're citing your sources. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. The problem is using this stuff at work is, even this, I can't run this on my work laptop because my work laptop is just a piece of shit. So I'm a little leery of, putting work-related items in it. I told it what I wanted to say, then it corrected it for me. Oh, I see. Okay. Then I edited from there. Yeah. The sad thing is this is why Hollywood went on strike, because it wrote you a 2 weeks notice letter. The writer's strike was all about AI writing an entire movie, and then the writers were doing nothing but making tiny edits to AI's like, here's a movie about a boy who lives on a farm on a planet somewhere drinking green milk and finds out that his father's really the bad guy. And then, writers going in having to go, okay, yeah, it's not green milk, it's blue milk. And, this guy's named Darth Vader and whatever. And it's, that kind of thing. But it's cool that it can give you that kind of stuff. Maybe you can, I didn't ask it to write it for me. I made a letter, then asked it to make it better. Oh, yeah. I've seen, I think, Digital, if you're still on, was it you that ran your resume through an AI to, say, hey, I'd like a job as blah? One of the things I want to ask the recruiter if and when he shows up on Tuesday is if HR firms and recruiting firms are using AI as a way to decide whether or not a resume is worthy of the next step in the hiring process. What can people do to make sure that an AI is also helping you write a better resume? Oh, not you. Okay. Wonder who that was then. Is that? I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was him. It had to. I may have saw it on the Slack or something. It helped me with that, and I created a cover letter, and it helped me do a Python script to fill in the blanks. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm. No, Digital was the one who told me to run my error messages through ChatGPT, and then I could figure out how to do things like install XCP-ng and all that stuff. So I was using it, to like company name and positions. Yeah, troubleshooting with AI. Yeah. One of the things I'd like to do is try to figure out, maybe I can run my resume through like a ChatGPT and go, okay, tell me what I would need on my resume to make me a good candidate for a CISO, that kind of thing. Or, I want to be a network engineer. What in my resume should I add to, based on my knowledge or based on the ChatGPT knowledge of, what I'm doing there. So, because not to again go on another tangent, but why I'm overexposed, y'all. There we go. think it's best when you create your own and ask it to improve on what you did. Yeah. Somebody had copied their LinkedIn profile, I think, into some AI somewhere and then edited it. Yeah, one of the things that you're gonna probably run into is you may have one AI going, oh, I'm detecting this resume was written by an AI, cancel, that kind of thing. So I have a feeling that you're not just going to be able to drop your resume into Chat GPT and go make this better without making some edits to still make it your own. Or you can't say, well, write me a resume that looks like a CISO, and then Chat GPT is going to write you up a CISO, and then you copy paste it in and go blah. You're actually going to still have to do a little bit of work, I think, on those. Or someone else is looking at what you did for improvements. Yeah. Yep. So, good times. What's on the docket for everybody this week? My team's back from their on-site in London, which I would have been jet lagged as fuck if I had actually gone to London this week. I'd have just been getting back yesterday evening. But I haven't needed to job hunt for a while, but I'll probably take my resume and have it insert some keywords from the job posting. So I'm gonna tell you a little story. So I know somebody who is working with HR firms that is they're trying to leverage AI for the hiring process. And the keyword thing is dead. So, yeah. Well, like I said, I start my new job tomorrow, first cybersecurity job. Really nervous, so excited. So, 8-bit. One thing, I'm going to ask this question. They were hiring. How long did it take you to actually get your job? You're going to do great, 8-bit. Don't worry about, nervousness is normal. It fell in your lap. I have some friends that I wish jobs would fall into their laps, but they've been suffering for a while now, being out of work. So, but I've been told on good authority that things like keywords are dead. The AIs are taking, I don't know how they're doing it. There's some magic there, but the days of us just popping in a bunch of keywords into our resume and hope that will get us through the AI review screen is going away. So, I still think that there'll be, and just like the person told me, who's very, very smart. There'll still be a need for people to interview and to make sure that the AI is doing its job. So there'll still be, your recruiters, there'll still be hiring managers, there'll still be interview loops, there'll still be things like that. But I think what they're trying to do is get a better idea of confidence that the people know what they're talking about or know what they're doing. Yeah. A lot of work. I never worked in a SOC, and they want to help me. Wait. Okay, so 8-bit, you said you got lucky. You've never worked in a SOC, and they want me to help build a SOC 2. Now, SOC is one thing. A SOC 2 is an entirely different thing, unless you didn't mean to put the 2 at the end of that. Security Operations Center is what I consider to be the SOC. The SOC 2 is actually a document that you put together about your company's data handling practices. Are you doing the data handling bit or the documents for like compliance and auditing purposes, or are you actually doing you're working, checking alerts and threat intel and okay, all right, cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, so that's what I was thinking when you said SOC 2. It's a compliance framework. So it's about third-party providers storing a product. But you're doing you know, SOC, that one. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's always good to have your first cybersecurity job. My comment was, does the company feel stable? You know, I'm not, I don't want to be doom and gloom. I'm just like, I had a friend of mine get hired 3 months later. They did layoffs, and I'm like, there should have been some red flags there. Did you notice that there was some kind of issue with the company, or, like people were unhappy or felt nervous about what was going on? Is this a fairly stable company that you feel like 8-bit that you can, you feel confident there? I mean, I'm excited that you're doing this. I've never worked in a SOC before. I've worked with people in a SOC, but I've never actually worked as a SOC analyst or somebody like that. It's always been, I was a security principal, and we'd get the alerts from the SOC team. It's stable. It's very corporate. Cool. Okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah, it's just my friend had been working there for 2 months, and then they had layoffs, and he was, I don't know if it was because he was, new guy, but it was like, oh yeah, we're done. And so I was like, fuck. All right. So, congratulations on the new job. That's great. I'm glad to see people can still break into information security, and, is there opportunities for you to move up, like, to be threat intelligence, or is part of the SOC work also working with threat intelligence feeds, or that kind of tooling? I don't want to ask where you work at, but if you're using Slack and you're working there tomorrow, see if I'm in the gal. Okay. I don't want to ask you where you're working at, because I don't want you to dox yourself or anything. But honestly, you just want to learn, get in, help build it, and get out. I think how long do they think, or did they tell you it was going to take to build this out? Because I'm very interested in how the timelines for that thing is. I mean, you said build it out. I mean, that makes it sound like that this is like a set maybe contract or something. They want to build it out by the end of the year. I would be interested in understanding what the goals is there. What do they consider done in that respect? It's like, okay, or is it them setting up like the collectors, deploying the agents, having some kind of orchestration, buying a bunch of threat intel feeds? I'm just morbidly curious. We don't have to go into any kind of bits there, and if you don't know, that's fine too. It's more than fine. Yeah, it does feel fairly ambitious, and it also depends on how large the company is. If it's 100,000 employees, making a SOC in 9 months maybe a little ambitious, but don't work yourself to death. Just remember that. Still, maintain your boundaries. You don't need to work Sundays. You don't need to work Saturdays. Make sure that you're, unless it's absolutely, unless they forced you to do so. But, remember, you have to take care of yourself, or burnout is a very real thing, and you'll find yourself old and jaded like myself and Digital Warhead over there. I'm just kidding. Digital Warhead is always super positive, and I love that man. But yeah, cool. Yeah. The one thing I would say, 8-bit, I would. There's a thing they've taught me in my work now, that about biases, and I have seen resumes from people who have been at 5 different jobs in 6 years. Now, my company tells me that that is not a bias that I should engage with, because everybody, there might be a reason why that happens. You not a good fit, bad manager, had to move, family issues, something like that. There could be very good reasons why somebody's had 5 jobs in 6 years. I have a friend of mine who has had a good number of jobs in the past 4 or 5 years because of layoffs or, poor market conditions or what have you. And he's still looking for a position right now. Not everybody works at my company. Not everybody not everybody who has had the training that I've had at my company will take that bias and remove it. So I would just say, try, I don't want to say, try to stay longer, but just keep that in mind. If you, are sitting here, after a year and you're leaving, just think about it. Maybe in a year, maybe in a year you're like climbing the walls and it's a really awful place and you do need to get the fuck out of there. Completely understand. I would just, preface that by saying, if you get on that, year thing, people are going to know, well, if we hire him, he's going to be gone in a year, right? Bias or no, it's still going to weigh on that. Now, I've been trained that when I'm hiring people, I cannot use that legally as a hey, that person's just going to leave in a year because, they've had 5 jobs in 6 years. But the bias does exist. I have sadly used it at other organizations to not hire people, for good or ill. But just keep that out there. And I hope you come back and let us know how everything's going. Keep us updated on that. If you find job openings or your company's hiring, I'd love to be able to get my friend in front of another interview, see if that's possible. But yeah, so I don't have anything else left. I'm actually surprised we went as long as we did tonight. I'm excited about Concierge. I think it's a good tool. No, I appreciate that you're thinking about your career. I do. My question though, after a year is, well, you've set up the SOC. What did you learn there? Well, you learned how to set up a SOC. I'm in a year, you said you're thinking about your career. So in a year, where do you think you'd be able to go from having 1 year of experience setting up a SOC? I mean, are you looking to be a senior SOC analyst at that point? I'm just think about it. I'm just, I'm not saying what you're suggesting to do is wrong. I'm just, jobs out there is like, if you want to go up, you have to have 2 to 3 years of this or 3 to 5 years of this or whatever. Yeah. Well, hopefully the job market is better in a year for everybody, and then we can, hopefully everybody who needs a job will have a job. But yeah, congratulations on the new SOC position, and hope we hear some good news from you on that realm. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna go. Tuesday, we'll either be doing more Rust programming or I'll be interviewing a recruiter. I'm hoping I'm interviewing a recruiter because otherwise I'm going to be a little unhappy. But we'll continue doing some Rust if the recruiter's not here. I'm going to go and get ready for the new week, and I'll see you on Tuesday. And yeah, y'all have a good night, a good day. Have a good first day at work, 8-bit. And thanks, Digital Warhead, and thanks Walt for joining us. And yeah, have a great night. Later, y'all. See ya.